first picked it up when I was probably about 4 years old. I started with like proper tennis. My parents were members of like a club which was about a 30-yard walk from my front door, so I spent a lot of time there. And then I actually realised that I was a bit too small to be playing with a real ball, and then I went to short tennis, you know, with the sponge balls, and then went back to the real tennis again. Mainly my family, but obviously I made a big decision when I was just 13 and I actually moved home. I left home from Scotland and I had to go down to England to like, at the time it was called an LTA Centre of Excellence, which was basically a place where I could do a lot more tennis and integrate it with school. In terms of having no schoolwork to do and only playing tennis, I've been doing that since I was 16. At first it was Pete Sampras. I remember he was always somebody that, obviously being from the UK, at a young age I would mainly only watch Wimbledon, so at the time he was the absolute king and continued to be the king for a while. And I kind of just liked the way he handled things on court. He made everything look kind of easy and never got flustered and kind of almost looked like he didn't care. So he was like a big hero. But then as I got older and obviously being British with Tim Hinman being like the only really sort of world-class player from the UK, he became more of like a real life role model for me. The last 3 or 4 years I've got to practice with Tim and know him a lot better, and as I say, to have like a real life role model rather than somebody that you only see on TV, it was a priceless experience. It's the making or breaking of a player at this level. It's how you deal with different things, and as you say, when you watch the match yesterday, can you see a difference in the way that we strike the ball? Probably not. It's like, okay, well, how do I react? How do I react to playing a tiebreak in the third set? If he hits a slightly short ball, do I have the balls to come up and take it and be aggressive like I had been the whole match? And that's all down to your head. There's a quote, I can't remember who it was from, but and it describes tennis brilliantly, but it's basically, it said sport reveals character. It doesn't build it, or it doesn't show it or something, but it reveals what your actual character is. And that's true, because I feel like playing in a tennis match is like it's like looking in the mirror, a long hard look in the mirror, because you have all these obstacles that you come across and all these scenarios, and you find out how you're going to deal with things and how you're going to deal with the adversity. And you're right, I mean, when something so close as that, and you know, yesterday I'm out on the court for 2.5 hours playing some great tennis, both of us are, and at the end of it comes down to first to 7 points in a tiebreak, and the winner of that gets a match tomorrow, the loser doesn't. You have to wait another week. In terms of, obviously, tennis, it is the bottom line, no matter if you like it or not, is to do with winning and losing and results and ranking numbers, and that's, you know, the ranking is what gets you the money, sort of produces and ends up in a career. But I mean, I have ranking goals that I want to achieve, but the way I'm going to achieve them are to do with improving areas in my game, and that's what I try to take out of the matches, especially the ones that I don't come through. It's like, okay, is there any positives that I can take through, you know, in my game that I can work on for the next time and would get me past players like that? I just think I'm in an extremely privileged position to be able to firstly do something I love as a job. I first started playing tennis because I liked the game. To wake up and to compete and the challenges that a tennis match brings up, and then whether you win or if you win, you get another chance the next day, and then if you win that, another chance the next day. If you don't, you got another one next week, and the next week, and the next week. People start playing tennis because, I mean, it's a game. It's something you do to enjoy, and you ask your average person just on the street what their job is, and if it's something that they first started doing because they actually genuinely loved it, then I think we're in a lucky position. It's a full-time job. People, it's interesting, people that we meet with the families, you know, they'll say they've had a long day because they've been out, sort of started work at 7 in the morning maybe and come back at 7 at night. And it's like, well, yeah, you're right, but at the same time, it's like, well, I've kind of been on the road for the last 8 weeks. I'm constantly at work. The reason I'm not in my own bed right now is because I've chosen to come and be a tennis player for a living. I've been lucky enough to be part of the GB Davis Cup team a few times, and just last month we played against Croatia at Wimbledon, Tim's last ever matches, and I played the last rubber on court 1. We were 4-0 up, it was a dead rubber, but I played against Silic, and the court was full. It was 12,000 people. It's obviously the biggest crowd I've played in front of, and court 1 at Wimbledon, one of the show courts. It's been, I mean, it's the match only, it was 4-4 I lost, so the match lasted like an hour and 4 minutes, like the quickest 2-set match I've played, and but it was honestly the best hour of my life by miles. I mean, the adrenaline rush and just the whole experience of having people chanting your name, and the crowd being full for a dead rubber was, I'm sure, a unique experience. But the other match actually happened over here in Godfrey, Illinois. I played a Futures tournament a couple of years ago, and I won the match 6-7, 7-6, 7-6, and it was 3 hours and 56 minutes for 3 sets, and both of us had to be carried off the court because both of us were cramping everywhere at the end of the match. It was like 2 boxers just knocked each other out. It was incredible, and it was 90 degrees, 80% humidity. The one thing I meant to say about the sort of challenges over here is what makes it sort of special and unique compared to the others is that they have hospitality, which basically families put up tennis players in their homes for the week of the tournament, and that can basically happen every single week of the tournaments, and you don't get that anywhere else in the world, nowhere. I've already stayed with a family 2 years already on 2 separate occasions, and they become friends, and that's another thing which is amazing about, as I say, you'd never meet these people in these different places and these different cultures if I hadn't first picked up a racket when I was 4.